Marketing Edge, which you can go and find at mspmarketingedge.com. And I work with about 700 MSPs around the world. Next year will be my 8th year in the channel, and it's gone so quick. It's so fast. But my job and my mission and my goal in life is to make marketing simple for MSPs. Because marketing can seem like a dark art sometimes, can't it? There's so many things you could do. You go onto all these wonderful communities that are around. And by the way, we're going to tell you about a new community at the end of this webinar. But you look on all these communities and you see that everyone's got lots of different opinions. Some people say you need to do SEO, search engine optimization. People say you need to do pay-per-click. Others say you need to do stuff in the mail. My job and what I've dedicated my working life to is making marketing simple for MSPs. And that's going to be reflected today when we talk about some of the big opportunities coming up for you next year. If you do want to connect with me, by the way, say go to mspmarketingedge.com. I have another website, which is my education site. That's Paul Green's mspmarketing.com. So it's got an S in it, Paul Green's mspmarketing.com. That's got my LinkedIn, my Facebook group, and you can actually email me as well. And I will personally answer you if you email me. So we're going to start off today with a poll, and Portia is going to launch that poll now. And then we're just going to take sort of 30 seconds for you to answer this poll. The question has just come up here is, how confident are you about growing your MSP in 2024? So you've got 4 options if you want to choose now. So you're either very confident, pretty confident, not at all confident, or you're scared of next year. So if you want to place your vote now, we have more and more people that have voted. So we're going to close this vote in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Portia, close the votes. There we go. That vote has been closed. And Portia, do you want to just tell us the results of that poll?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. It's just come up on screen now. Talk us through those results.
Sure, Paul. So we have an 18% vote for very confident. We have 36% vote for pretty confident. And we have a 45% vote for not at all confident.
Okay, so that's really interesting results to see there. And no one said they're scared of next year, which is awesome. That's exactly the way you should be going into it. So what's the first big opportunity for your MSP in 2024? It is, of course, AI. So if you go back 12 months, just to the end of 2022, you and we knew that AI was there, that it was being worked on. We knew that it was increasingly being integrated into the tools that ordinary business owners use every day. But it was the release of ChatGPT, which is only 12 months ago. Well, I say the public release of ChatGPT, was it 3.5? It was only the release of that 12 months ago that suddenly propelled AI, in speech marks, AI into the public consciousness. And suddenly ordinary business owners and managers, so the decision makers that you want to reach, were suddenly aware of AI more than ever before. And, there's virtually no one on the planet, surely, who hasn't at least been into Bard or into ChatGPT or something else and just typed something in and just seen what happens. I personally subscribe, just for my personal interest, to ChatGPT 4. And just so that I can, just track what's happening with it. Currently enjoying generating images. They're DALL-E images that you can generate through ChatGPT 4, which is epic. Now, here's the thing. Portia, can I just ask, can you just mute yourself just we're going through this, because we're just getting a little bit of noise coming from you. That'd be awesome. Thank you. So I see that the big opportunity for MSPs from AI is not actually using AI, but it's talking about AI. Because here's the thing, the ordinary decision makers that you want to reach, remember this above all else when it comes to your marketing. They do not know what you know. It's very easy for you to think, oh, these guys must know, right? Because they must read the same blogs and they must read the same information and they must know about Copilot and all of that kind of stuff. And actually they don't. You go and say the word Copilot to the average person and they think you're talking about the person that sits next to the pilot on the plane. And of course, when I say Copilot, I'm hoping that you think, oh yeah, Microsoft Copilot, which is just rolling out now. Now, you and I know, again, that Microsoft Copilot is ChatGPT. It's exactly the same thing. But the average person doesn't know that. So I think the opportunity for you in 2024 is, of course, using AI. And there are lots and lots of different creative ways you can use AI to enhance your marketing and make it easy. But the real opportunity for you is to talk about AI. There's an MSP that I work with who has just done, literally like 2 weeks ago, they did a lunch and learn. And I work fairly closely with them through my MSP Marketing Edge program. And we were talking about what their subject should be for the Lunch and Learn. And cybersecurity is the one that's been the big Lunch and Learn topic for the last couple of months, hasn't it? But actually, they did one about AI. And it was huge because all of the business owners, they got, from memory, it was about 15, 20 business owners into a room, which is amazing. And they were talking about AI, explaining what it is, explaining large language models, talking about how ChatGPT or OpenAI and Microsoft have this intense partnership. I think this was just before all the drama, so they couldn't talk about the Sam Altman drama around OpenAI. But what they did do was explain ordinary AI. And then they worked around the room and they would come up with ways that all the businesses or some of the businesses in the room could use AI to be more productive, to save time, to get more things done. And that was a mix of using the AI tools that are increasingly being built into the Microsoft tool set. It was, of course, using ChatGPT right down to, you're saying that not many people realize if you use the ChatGPT app on your phone, you can talk to it, right? You can talk to it in the same way that you can talk to lots of different devices. And things are changing so often that the ordinary person is not keeping up. So I would say for 2024, you have an opportunity to position yourself as the technology authority on AI in your local area or in your niche or your vertical. Now, I know that you're probably sitting there thinking, but Paul, I'm not 100% convinced that I am an AI expert. Well, you are, compared to the average Joe, compared to the average decision maker. Just because you're keeping up to date on what's happening, that puts you a step ahead, 2 steps ahead maybe. And you only need to be 2 steps ahead in order to do a lunch and learn or to do a webinar or something like that. In fact, right now, if you are thinking, I've always fancied doing lunch and learns or webinars, that would be a great set of activities for you to do next year. You could do one about cybersecurity. You could do one about AI. You could do one about productivity tools. I mean, Teams, there's a brand new Teams app, which is that just launching or it's just launched? That in itself could become a webinar, could become a lunch and learn. And the whole point of these is the subject matter that you talk about. It almost doesn't matter. The subject matter is there to get the crowd in, and then the crowd will sit there with their arms folded for half an hour or 60 minutes, nodding along, thinking, this guy or this person is a genius. This person is the tech person I want. And that's the whole point of a lunch and learn. It's about positioning yourself as the technology authority in your local area. And authority figures, they do talks, they do webinars, they do all sorts of stuff. The more you're out there, the more people will go and seek you out, which is really, really cool. I must mention, by the way, as we're going through this, please do put your questions in the chat, or there's a Q&A, whichever you want, it doesn't matter. At the end, Portia will go through and she'll pull out some of those, the best questions, and I'll happily answer any question for you, certainly on the subject of marketing anyway. So let's go on to the second biggest opportunity, marketing opportunity for MSPs in 2024, and that is LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I adore it. And I say this with the caveat that I'm generally not a Microsoft fan. And of course, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is getting better and better and better. Microsoft bought it, of course, a number of years ago. And I have to say, under their stewardship, it has really gone from strength to strength to strength. As an MSP, if you really want to maximize the number of leads that you generate next year, then the number one platform for you to be on is LinkedIn. Now, don't get me wrong, there are many other places to generate leads. Your email database will generate you leads. Facebook is a great universal social media platform to generate leads. Don't know so much about X or Twitter right now. Certainly don't bother about Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. All of those platforms aren't quite valid. YouTube is valid, but you've got to put a lot of work in. Networking is valid. I don't mean cables. I mean like BNI. That's a very valid place to go. There are lots and lots and lots of places to generate leads. But I recommend that you focus your time on LinkedIn. And that recommendation will continue throughout 2024. Why? Because that's where your future clients are right now. Unlike networking, which is actually a minority activity, if you take any town and you look at the number of business owners who regularly go networking, it's a very, very small minority. So unlike networking, unlike some of those other things we've talked about, LinkedIn, everyone, and I put that in speech mark, everyone is on LinkedIn. They may use it for job hunting. They may use it for selling their own stuff. They may use it just for connecting with people or having an online copy of their offline database, but everyone is on LinkedIn. And we recommend a set of different activities on LinkedIn. First of all, you should be connecting to new people every single day. Now, LinkedIn has actually changed something in the last couple of weeks, which we as a business haven't quite got to grips with yet because there hasn't been a lot written about it. But we have noticed with a number of our MSP Marketing Edge members an algorithm change. So it used to be back in the day that when it very first started, that LinkedIn was the it was the online copy of your offline network. And do you remember, like years ago, if you were on LinkedIn, you could report someone if they connected with you and they weren't connected with you in real life? Do you remember that? Then Microsoft bought it and they opened it up and very successfully turned it into a large social network. And for many years, there were very, very, very loose and broad limits on how many people you could connect with on LinkedIn, which was epic. And it was very much a feast. Go and feast and connect to as many people as you want. And then around about, I think it must be about 2 years ago, LinkedIn decided to flip a switch and made it quality over quantity. So these days, well, up until a couple of weeks ago, you had a limit of how many people you could attempt to connect to every single day. And that limit was somewhere between around about 7 and 10. So every day, coming new to LinkedIn, make a series of connection requests, go up to about 7 to 10, something like that. That's fine. And you typically get 1 or 2 people connecting with you, which is great. That's changed in the last couple of weeks. And you now seem to have a weekly limit. And some of my MSP Marketing Edge members who've been following this advice as part of a marketing system for some time have suddenly discovered they get to a Tuesday and they run out of connections. And we, as far as we can tell, it seems to be based on the current size of your network. It seems to be based on something called your social selling index, which is something you can find. It's not something that many people know about LinkedIn, but it's like a score. Your social selling score that's within LinkedIn seems to be based on the amount of activity you do and the amount of content you post. One thing we have seen, so far, we haven't validated this yet, but so far as we can see, is that if you give LinkedIn money in terms of Sales Navigator, then it seems to make the limits bigger again. Of course it does. If I was the product manager of LinkedIn, I would be restricting what you can do on the free tier and making it easier for you and making the numbers bigger on the paid tier. So I'm not saying, do not please take this as a recommendation to go and use Sales Navigator, because that is going to cost you a few $100 a month. But if growing your LinkedIn audience is important to you, that may be something that you have to do in 2024. So every day, where you can, until you run out of connection requests, you should be attempting to add new people. Look at the people in your network. Look at the people you're already connected to, and then go and look at their connections. And let's say you're connected to a business owner in your town and you want more of those people, then go and look at their connections and find other business owners in their town, or do it within a niche, or do it within a vertical, or best still, and this is my best piece of advice on LinkedIn, you find someone else who's already connected to the people that you want to be connected to. So we talked about networking. There might be an Uber networker in your town. I live in the UK. I live just outside a city called Milton Keynes, and there's a guy here called Mark Orr. I've only met him once, didn't like him, horrible guy. But he is the most connected guy in Milton Keynes. He's got thousands and thousands of connections within Milton Keynes. So I'm not interested in Milton Keynes business owners, but if I was you and I had a business here, then I would connect to him and I would attempt to connect to his connections. Does that make sense? So that's a really smart way to do it. By the way, there is a setting in LinkedIn to stop other people doing that to you. Just Google how to stop someone else seeing your LinkedIn connections. You can actually switch that off if you want to protect your connections. So we've got connecting to people. In fact, we could define this down into 4 C's, if I can remember what the 4 C's are. I've got 2 of them in my head. So connect is the first C. The second C is content. Content is the next one. You need to post content every single day on LinkedIn. There's loads of content around. We do it in the MSP Marketing Edge. A lot of the vendors do it. You can get it in all sorts of places. Please do go and just put good quality content in front of your connections every day. Connect, content, comment. That's the other one. Spend 10 minutes a day going through your connections posts. Just go through your news feed, comment on other people's posts. When you add value, don't comment for the sake of it. Just comment when you add value. And then the fourth one is, I can't remember my word for it. It's gone out of my head. I'm gearing up for Christmas, 2 weeks time, and I'm off and I'm down and my brain's running down. It's basically about messaging people, but I turned it into a C. Is it connection? It's not connection. I'll remember it in a few minutes time. But basically message people. So when you've got contacts and you're connected to them, message them. The easy way to do this is to group people into relevant audiences. So the more relevant your message appears to be to someone, the more value that it adds, the more likely they are to respond to you and to actually, reply and engage with you. And engagement is what it's all about. Let me give you an example. Let's say you wanted to reach more lawyers. Ugh, could you imagine being a lawyer? What a horrible way to spend your day. But let's say you wanted to work with more lawyers. You might be connected to 20 lawyers. So message those 20 lawyers. And you might do this across a week. But you can have the same message, can't you, that you send to each of those lawyers. And it would say, hey, I see that you're, hey, Dave, as a busy lawyer, I bet you blah, 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 blah. In fact, that's awful. I can't write very well when I'm talking. I write much better with my keyboard. But you get the idea. You can actually be efficient with your messaging by writing one really good message to one type of business owner and then sending it out to all of those types that you're connected with. So those are your 4 C's or your 3 C's and your 1 M on LinkedIn. Let's move on to the third big opportunity for you in 2024, and that is video. Video is massive, 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 and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. How much of your time do you spend on YouTube, right? For me, YouTube is not only the place I go to get answers to stuff, but it's also like if I only watch like one thing a night, so I might watch something on Netflix or Doctor Who. Doctor Who is the 60th anniversary at the moment. If you're outside the UK, it's on Disney Plus. It's amazing. Go and watch the new 60th anniversary special. If you don't know what that is, just Google it. It's a 60-year-old British sci-fi show, and it's amazing. They keep reinventing it. But yeah, so I'll watch like Doctor Who, and then I'll just go onto YouTube for 10 minutes before bed. And of course, 80 minutes later, I'm still on YouTube because YouTube's algorithm knows more about what I like than I do, right? So video is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And video isn't just about YouTube. I mean, YouTube is important. It's a great way to build an audience. We give tech tips videos, a weekly tech tip video presented by a real female presenter to all of our members every single week because it's so powerful, and they can put it on YouTube and put it on their website and embed it into blogs and put it on social media. And you can do all of these things with the videos. Some of our members take the presenter out and put themselves in, which is epic because then again, they're building their authority as the local tech expert. But there are many other ways to use videos as well. Webinars. This is video. This is a video communication, right? Like we were saying at the beginning, do webinars, do lunch and learns. In fact, you could do a lunch and learn and record it from a camera at the back. Make sure you've got a good time mic on with a radio mic. Get someone at the back, a colleague of yours. It could just be with a phone, but a phone on a tripod, so it's good quality. Make sure you're well lit. Then you've done the lunch and learn, and you've now got a whole series of video clips that you can share on LinkedIn and on other platforms. The other use of video is one-to-one video. You've got platforms like Vidyard, Bonjoro. In fact, a lot of the video platforms, even I think Vimeo now allows you to record like a one-on-one video. I do this. I do welcomes to every new client. So each week I'm recording 10 or 15 personalized welcomes to welcome someone to our service. And it's a great thing to do. And not all of them get opened, but about 2/3 of them do. It's a great thing to send a video message to a prospect. What if you've been out to see someone, you've put in the proposal, the price seems right, the relationship seems right, and then they ghost you. Like they just don't get back to you. You could just keep phoning them and be that person, or you could send them a video, and that video could even be a "Have you given up on this project?" video, which is a great thing to do. Video stands out, and it's going to keep growing throughout 2024. So you need to do more of it. Right, I've got 2 more quick opportunities for you next year. Then we're going to answer some questions. We're also going to talk about a new community that you should join and the Super Ops Awards, which you should definitely enter. And you have to be nice to me if you do, because I'm one of the judges. So our 4th opportunity is using your authentic personality. What I mean by that is taking you and wrapping your marketing around you, but not you pretending to be someone else, you being you. The biggest problem that MSPs have is differentiation. How do I differentiate myself from my direct competitors? I don't know. That's what MSPs say. And you look at, you could look at your website and 10 of your direct competitors' websites, and they probably say the same thing. I mean, they like look different and have different words, but they all send the same message to the average business owner, but not yours, because the opportunity is for you to put a photo of you on your website, and for your headline to be not about you, but about what value you bring to your future client, to your prospect. Even better, how about a video of you interspersed with clips of your clients? That would be epic. I want to see a photo of you on your About Us page. I want to see photos of your staff. I want to see, ideally, a photo of you and your family. People buy from people, right? This is really important. People buy from people, and they are much more likely to buy from you if they look on your website and they see, wow, you're a family person. There's your other half. There are your kids. I can see you help out with the local Rotary Club, the Scouts. I can see you there, a picture of you with the local sports team, scarf on or baseball cap or whatever it is. This stuff is powerful, right? They will pick you because they form an emotional connection with you, because they feel like they like you. They don't know you, but they can get to know you a little bit through your website. They're not picking you because you're a partner of this company or that company. They're not picking you because of accreditations or certifications, because they don't understand this stuff. These are ordinary people who don't understand, well, they don't know what they don't know about technology. So therefore, we've got to help them understand that they are buying you. By the way, you could have 20 technicians working for you, and still, I would recommend that you become the face of your marketing. I'm the face of my business. I have a team of 10. I don't do any proper work at all. I just rock up and do these kind of things and do the podcast. That's it. My team does all the actual work, but I'm still the face of the business, because none of my competitors can possibly come close to competing with us while I am the face of the business, because there is only one me, just as there is only one you. The final opportunity for you next year is consistency. I don't like marketing campaigns. I don't recommend that MSPs do marketing campaigns, because a marketing campaign tends to become a piece of very difficult one-off work that doesn't really ever return a good investment. It can, but it doesn't always. Instead of doing a one-off 2 or 3 week campaign, my preference for you is that you put in place a marketing system for your business. You know, we were talking earlier about LinkedIn and like connecting to people and putting content and commenting and I still can't remember the fourth C. That is a system. Every day I can go in and I can spend 20 minutes connecting to new people, posting a piece of content and commenting on others' posts every single weekday. That is a marketing system. I'm going to send an email, an educational email every single week to my email audience. That is a system. I'm going to get a printed newsletter. I'm going to post it out and I'm going to mail it to my Dream 100, the top 100 prospects that I have. That is a marketing system. And it's these kind of systems which make the biggest difference to MSPs. The goal for you is to set up a series of systems of small things that happen every day, every week, and every month. And then you keep doing those things until you sell the business or you die, whichever comes first. Let's hope it's selling the business, right? But this is the consistency that I'm talking about. This is exactly what we mean when we talk about having a consistent marketing system within your business. Okay, Portia, I'm going to stop talking now, and you and I have some things to talk about. The first of which is we need to talk about the community. So tell us about the SuperOps community that you and your colleagues have been putting together. And you're on mute, by the way. Just say something, Portia. Nope, still can't hear you. Oh, yes. This is not good when the host of the webinar is on mute. So while Portia figures that out, I'll tell you about the SuperOps community, because I'm one of the founding members of it. So SuperOps, as we know, is a great piece of software. They're a great bunch of people. I've never dealt, well, I deal with lots of vendors and do lots of webinars, and these guys have so much energy and they're really good at building long-term things, and they've put together their own community. In fact, Portia, who has been silenced forever, Portia is the community manager of the community. Oh, there we go. We can hear you now. So tell us about this community. What's the benefit of joining?
The benefits of joining the community, unlike any other community would offer, it's great networking. But what we've gone out and done extra special is constantly curating content that's around helping MSPs up their business game. We've collaborated with several industry experts such as yourself to make the community not just as a platform where we speak about super ops, but we also want to kind of help global MSPs across the world gain insightful content, network with each other, understand how what the new business trends are, understand what type of sales and marketing approaches that they can take. We also have a specific script library in which has like 50 plus scripts. We have ebooks, we have on-demand webinars, we have webinars like this, which we've curated specifically to help MSPs grow their business. So I would obviously be sending an email for all of these attendees with a link to join the community. I'll post it here as well. But I think all of you should check it out. If you have feedback on the community, please feel free to drop it as an email to me at community@superops.ai. I'd be more than happy to help and understand what is that you actually need and kind of curate it and bring it into the community.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know you've just dropped a link into the chat as well. So do go and click on that link and do join the SuperOps community and say hi to me. Tag me in your first post, and I'll be delighted to talk to you.
We also have this is exclusive for superops.ai community members, which is not visible outside, but we have a specially curated course on MSP marketing by Paul. It's a 40 video course and it is so in depth. It's very resourceful, insightful. I've had a few people DM me about the course saying that it's really good. So thank you so much, Paul, for offering that to the community members. And I urge all of you attendees to go check it out. I can drop a link to that exact post as well, but you might have to join the community to see it.
Exactly, yeah. And it's that video course is something we were selling for like, I think it was about $200 back in the summer, and we've stopped selling it now because that's our strategy has changed. I'm delighted to have found it a new home, and that home is SuperOps. So it's 40 videos, which sounds a lot. It's around about 4 hours, but it takes you from zero marketing to a marketing system, actually. That's exactly the purpose of that. And it's all presented by me and completely free, just for being part of that community. So well reminded on that, Portia. Now we're going to answer, I know we've got a couple of questions to answer, which we'll get to in a second. If you've got any questions now, pop those into the Q&A. I also need to thank Ryan and is that Tanner? Ryan and Tanner, thank you for communicate. That was the word I was looking for earlier. I had a complete mind blank on that. So I'm glad you know what I was supposed to be talking about, even if I didn't. And that was when we were talking about messaging people on LinkedIn. Just before we do the questions, Portia, just tell us about the Super Ops Awards, because they're open right now, aren't they?
Yes. So another initiative that we've taken up is honoring the best in the MSP industry. We've come up with a SuperOps.ai MSP award where we'd like to recognize MSPs for the work that they do. There are 8 different categories. For example, we have an emerging MSP of the year. We have a solo MSP of the year. We have MSPs with the best use of AI. There are multiple categories, about 10 categories. And if you'd like to nominate yourself, I'd highly recommend you do it, because it's definitely going to be opening up a lot of avenues in terms of business opportunities for MSPs who participate. And we'd also love to kind of like award you that. So please register yourself and nominate yourself. We'd definitely be looking at each entry and coming up with the winners very soon.
Fantastic. And I'm one of the judges, and you can't bribe me, but if you did want to send some pale ale or red wine, here's my address. I'm going to post it into. I'm joking. So thank you for that. I am looking forward to doing the judging. I think I did it last year as well, and it's a great way to end the year. Is just looking at all the these amazing entries from so many talented MSPs out there. So let's just quickly answer some questions. We've got 2 questions to answer. Did you want to read them out, Portia, or do you want me to just jump in and
I can read it out.
Answer those. Okay, go for it.
So on the LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn slide, we had a question as to what should we post as? Should we post as ourselves or the company or both on LinkedIn?
Super simple answer on that is you. So company pages are kind of like Facebook pages. Algorithmically, they're less relevant. People don't really connect with company pages. It's you. So the standard, the best practice is you pick one person in the business who is going to be the LinkedIn profile. So in a smaller MSP, that's easy. It's the business owner, right? In a larger MSP, you pick someone who is the last to leave, And by that, I mean, if you've got like 2 or 3 directors, but a couple of salespeople, you wouldn't do it as a salesperson. You wouldn't let the salesperson do it because they might leave in 2 or 3 years, but one of the directors would do it. Even if it's not them actually doing it, it's someone doing it on their behalf. So essentially, it's the face of the business. If you look at my LinkedIn, and I'm connected to something like 8,000 people on LinkedIn, I do like 2 minutes a day on LinkedIn actually answering difficult posts, and then I'll have a virtual assistant who does all the connections and the standard replies and all of that kind of stuff. So, we get a really good LinkedIn presence. We do 30 minutes a day, but I'm only doing 2 minutes of that, but I'm the face of the business, if that makes sense. So yeah, definitely individual.
Awesome. The second question is, Paul, so instead of posting in a campaign, how would you do your daily posts?
I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what that question means, so feel free to follow up. Whoever asked that question, please feel free to follow that up. But on daily posts, assuming we're talking about LinkedIn, one of the shortcuts is to use a piece of scheduling software. So, for example, Publer, Publer, that's by far the #1 choice of our MSP Marketing Edge members because it's free. If you're just using it to schedule on LinkedIn, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I know a lot of people use Growably, which is the Tech Tribe sort of CRM and integrated marketing software. You get that free in the Tech Tribe, and that has a social media scheduling tool as well. There's loads around. There's Hootsuite, there's all the others. But as I say, Publer is the one that people are picking today. That's the one thing I think. I'm not sure if that's the question you're asking, but that's what most or many MSPs use to schedule their social media. So it becomes a once a week job, but you still get social media scheduled every day. But don't forget to still go into LinkedIn every day to reply to people's comments, to message people, and of course to comment on their posts as well.
We have the follow-up question for that. When I do a campaign, it's usually a topic of the month, but you said not to do campaigns.
I see. Okay, so who's asking this? Just so I can put a name on this, Portia.
Amy.
Amy. Okay. Hi, Amy. So the reason I say not to do campaigns is only aimed at MSPs that do a bit of marketing now and again. So Amy, if you are regularly doing campaigns, like if you're doing a topic a month, big thumbs up from me, because that means you're doing something every month. And do you remember we said the consistency was the big thing? 90%, 97.4% of MSPs that I speak to don't have the structure, the systems to do a marketing campaign every single month. So what happens is they do one in like February, and then they intend to do one in March, but by the time they get around to it, it's November. And that's no good to anyone because that's sort of itty-bitty marketing. So actually, if you're doing a campaign every month, great. If it's working for you, great, don't change that. But you are an exception to the rule. So if you are, you can give yourself a pat on the back. The only downside, Amy, is what happens if you go on a vacation for 2 weeks? Does the marketing stop? We said earlier that people only buy when they're ready to buy. They've got to get the timing right. So if you're away 2-3 weeks and there's no marketing happening or the campaign stops, what happens? How do we get marketing in front of people? Perhaps the answer there is while you're away to infill with sort of just normal social media content.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome. Those were the 2 questions we had for the evening. Any other few questions if you guys have? Feel free to post it. We can get it answered later as well. But I think we've come to the end of the session, Paul. Awesome, guys. As we wrap up today's webinar, I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Paul Green for sharing his expertise with us. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. We hope you found this session valuable and that you're leaving with actionable insights for your MSP marketing strategies in 2024. Please keep an eye on your inbox for a follow-up email with a recording of this webinar and additional resources. And please don't hesitate to reach us out with any further questions or feedback. Once again, thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys have a very wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Paul.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.